everyone. It's my turn to share what happened after Cronus started to eat all his children. Please take a look here. Do you know who he is? I think all of you have heard about this name, Zeus. He was the son of Rhea and Cronus. Cronus was the youngest titan at that time, and to make himself become the most powerful god, he ate his children after they were born. How cruel he was. Rhea didn't want her children to be eaten again, so she followed the Earth Mother Gaia's advice. After those were born, Rhea wrapped a rock with a blanket and gave the rock to Cronus. And Cronus thought it was a very hard kid and just swallowed it. Then he had a stomachache every day. Why didn't he look at a baby first before he swallowed the rock? So silly, right? In order not to let Cronus bite Zeus, Rhea hid little Zeus in a cave. And Amalthea was a nymph goat, and she lived in a cave. Nymph was a kind of genie, and sometimes they would turn into a goat. Amalthea and other nymphs take good care of Zeus in the cave. To cover Zeus' cry, they used guns to hit the show. There were some people guarding outside too. And Zeus grew up by drinking milk and honey. After a few years, Zeus grew up and married a Titan's girl called Metis. At first, she didn't want to marry Zeus, but Zeus was too strong, and finally they got married. Metis' father was the river god of the ocean, called Oceanus, and her mother was his father's sister called Tethys. There was a sea called Tethys Sea before. Now we call it Mediterranean Sea. It was named after Tethys. Metis was the first goddess of wisdom, and she was also Zeus' first wife. Besides Metis, do you know how many wives did Zeus have? He had 7 wives in his life, and besides Metis, the other wives were all his relatives. Many gods of ancient Greece like to marry their relatives because they are open and inclusive. That means they like to marry someone in their own family. Well, I don't like this kind of situation. When Zeus grew up and returned to his mother, Rhea was really happy, but Cronus wasn't, because Zeus might have stronger power over him. One day, Rhea told Zeus that Cronus ate his children many years ago, and she missed them so much. She was sure they were still alive, so Zeus decided to bring them back. One day, Zeus came to Cronus, and he praised him and said he was the wisest, and strongest god in the world. Then he poured some wine to his father. Cronus was very glad and drank it. In fact, it was a magic drink. And then he threw up. The gods in Cronus' body were Poseidon, Hades, Sara, Demeter, and Hestia. How big was his stomach? Can you believe that? Well, I think it was just a story. And finally, the rock came out too. Right at that moment, Cronus knew why his stomach always hurt. Those gods inside Cronus' body were Zeus' older brothers and sisters, but because Zeus saved them, so he became the big brother. And they respected with him and thanked him for setting them free. Thank you.